Bostic, Brett. Listen to this.
To the pharmacy and eat its sex, old man's employed there. So I choose to keep a low profile and sneak around like it's going out of style and try to keep these balls up in the air. Yeah, they call me the juggler, cause I always have three lovers.
Three lovers!
Sometimes I wish I had me a twin brother. Because it takes a lot of steam, making all that hubbub ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Tanya, Tina, and Isadora, but that all ended in a puddle of tears and blood.
Tina went crazy, man.
Tanya down for 10 to noon, and Tina turned up around 1 or 2, and Izzy used me all night like a stud.
Isadora, baby.
One day Tanya showed up a little late.
Tanya didn't
Tina
like
turned
it.
up a lot early, so fists were flying till Izzy came that night. I'm pretty sure it's the doors when they threw me on the floor while Tanya and Tina punched and kicked and swore, and long story short, I lost the fight. Yeah, they call me the juggler, cause I always have three lovers. They come and go, but there's
That's Ben
always
Bostic,
another.
everybody. I hope you guys are having a good
Yeah, I guess
time. Let me turn that stuff down a little bit, man. I get to going, right? We're here with Brett Hunt. Brett Hunt, man. I'm glad to hang out with you. Thanks for being with me here. We're going on Heroes Live. Heroes Live. Thanks for everybody that's hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. I want to put this out early, right up front, right here. If you'd like to support, right there's a link in the chat. You can click that, and we appreciate your support. We really do. I'd like to take an opportunity to share with you guys our donors and tell them thank you. All of our donors, thank you very much. I didn't get an opportunity. If you donated last night, I'm sorry. But we did get a Cool People Award for our first Cool People Award to Troy McManus, Jump Master. Troy McManus, one of our, he's coin number 12, I think. But he got the Cool People Award last night. And thanks to our senior rated donors, thanks to our master rated donors. And everybody, you can click on that link there in the chat and donate at will. And it comes to Joe and I and what we're doing here. We're here tonight with Brett Hunt, and he's an Audacia, a Sky Striker, a Paratrooper, a one who flung himself out of an airplane in the middle of the night in the 70s, And we're here with him, and we're going to be hanging out. Before we get started, I just want to a new segment tonight. Hey, Joe, thanks for hanging out. I just want to show you a new segment we're going to do tonight. Tonight's the first night we're going to do Air Defense News. So here we go. Let me just show you a little bit here about Air Defense News. Look, Lockheed Martin, they just got awarded a contract to produce the THAAD battery. So I think 2025 is going to be built. So yay, Lockheed. If you are a THAAD battery watcher and that's what you want, then I guess that's a good thing, right? And right there's the official press release. So if that's interesting to you, then that's a good thing in ADA News. As air defenders, one of the things about being an air defender that I was always proud of, Brett, is that we don't go like behind enemy lines most of the time to shoot down their airplanes. We're trying to defend our own people and our own territory. And so there's a lot of good in that, I think. And, Brett, thanks for being here with us on Heroes Live. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun. We made a few slideshows for you. You've got an interesting occupation and hobby and things that you do, and we're going to get to hear about your life tonight. It'll be fun, right?
Yes, and thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Honored.
Absolutely. So Brett, where are you from?
I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, but I live in Washington Courthouse, Ohio now. I've been here ever since I got out of the Army.
Yeah. And so what would you say it's like being where you're from?
Well, it's not a small town, but it's a small city. It's a farm community, and just, where everybody knows everybody and everybody tries to take care of everybody. It's really nice. around here. It moves at a slower pace than Columbus, but that's okay. You want a faster pace? Columbus is only an hour away, so.
Oh, that's awesome. So, like, what what era did you grow up in? Did you grow up in the '60s? You consider yourself a '60s kid or a '70s kid?
I basically grew up. Childhood was in the '60s, and I was born in '59. So by '69, I was 9 years old. So.
So what do you remember from being a kid? Do you remember did you have a lot of brothers and sisters? Where you live in a neighborhood, you live on a farm, do you drive a tractor, do you chase a school bus?
We lived in Columbus when I was a boy, and but every summer we'd go camping. We camp all summer long, and I got the best of both worlds. I got to be in the country for summertime and in the city during the winter time. So
What did you enjoy most, the city or the country?
I liked the country the best because we used to go down the creeks and catch salamanders and crawdads and snakes and just run wild basically. Nobody back then you didn't have to worry about people kidnapping you and stuff. So
Right, right. So when you say we, who was it that was part of that group that was running around chasing salamanders?
well, there was a group of permanent campers at the campgrounds we had, and all the boys my age, it was about 10 of us, we ran around every summer. Of course, we lost track of each other during the school year, but we always come back in the summer, so we was just like brothers almost.
Oh, that's
And,
great. Were you good at school and stuff? Did you play sports? Were you one that liked to chase the girls around the playground?
well, I was a player, but mostly in the chess club.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. I did play a little bit of sports, played a little bit of football, and ran track. And I was an average student, I suppose. I didn't really have much interest until I got in high school. So when I high school, I kind of buckled down and started learning. But up until then, I just kind of just screwed around in school.
Yeah, yeah. What were you known as in the neighborhood? Were you the skateboard guy or the bicycle guy or what was your specialty?
Well, back then we rode those Stingray bicycles, and that's what we did. We rode wheelies and raced each other. We raced to school every day in Columbus. So,
Oh, I bet that was fun.
yeah,
What color was your bike?
it was black. It had a
Yeah.
white banana seat with a silver trim around it. My dad actually made it for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he turned my sister's bike into a boy's bike, and then he painted it, and he put butterfly handlebars on it, the banana seat, sissy bar, whole 9 yards. Had turned it out really nice. It looked like a brand new bike by the time he got done with it.
Oh, wow. So he took a hand-me-down bike and made you something completely new.
And special.
Oh, yay. That's cool. Where do you have that bike?
It's still in the family. I think my sister has it now. It's back to being a girl's bike.
Oh,
I've
wow.
I've graduated to a 10 speed now, and I don't ride it as much, but I do ride it every now and then. So
Oh, wow. That is so cool. So you ride the bike still? So ride bicycles still?
yeah, we got a couple bike trails here. I take about a 30-mile trip every summer on it one way, and then come back. And if I do it all the time, I'd get used to it. But that's about enough for me for a couple 3 weeks. Then they go bicycling around town here, and they got a wetlands close by. We go to and stuff. That's pretty neat.
Tell me about running track. Was that where you like I ran track one time. I signed up for an event and I never even practiced the event before I did it. And I looked like I don't know. It was not a good thing. It was not a good thing. What about you? Did you have a good adventure running track?
Yeah, I ran 100 and I ran the 200 and hurdles. And just like you, they'd always put me in some event, different track meets. They'd take one of my events away and put me like in the long jump, which I really didn't practice, so I wasn't very good at. But it was an experience. You got to try different stuff, see what you was good at.
Right, right.
And
It's interesting. it seems like high school is a great place to experience a lot of things. But I didn't take advantage of it. I wasn't good at that. I would rather just kind of keep to myself. Were you a gregarious kind of person? Did you go out for everything, or did you kind of keep to yourself?
Well, I didn't keep to myself, but I didn't go out. I was uh, basically shy in school. So, other than with friends and stuff, I didn't really go out and meet people a lot and stuff like that. And we ran together and had fun. And I wouldn't say I was completely a wallflower, but I didn't, I wasn't a big partier or nothing like that in high school. So, and then after a while, we got into cars and stuff like that. So,
Oh, so tell me about your first car.
that was a 64 Fury push button transmission, 318 engine. I bought it. It was white with silver primer all over it, and I painted. Bought it for $200 and put a $50 paint job, painted it glossy black, and had an orange stripe down the side of it. And I thought it was a race car, but it really wasn't.
Oh, wow, that's great, right? So, did you like to race it, or did you just go from stoplight to stoplight? Like a
Just
regular
stoplight
person.
to stop. Yeah, stoplight to stoplight, and we take it out in the country sometimes, and just go for long rides.
That's
Like I said, it really wasn't a race car. It was an old police cruiser, highway police cruiser, and they called it an airplane gear in it, and it would kick in at 92 miles an hour.
oh
But
wow.
you had to shut it down real quick after that because they put a smaller thermostat in it. So if you ran it for more than about 10, 15 seconds after 92, the engine would shut off.
Oh, that was a turbo boost button.
Yeah.
The turbo boost button. That's cool. That is so cool. So, like, did you like to work on cars?
Well, back in the day when they were easy, I can't work on cars anymore, but back then I do everything but the transmission back in the day. So
Wow.
we had a radiator shop here. If you took your own radiator off, they'd boil it and solder it up, and you could put it back in and yourself, and they'd only charge $5 for it. So, and
Tell,
go ahead.
tell me about mom and dad and brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff back then.
Okay, I had two sisters, both older than me. Uh, Dad worked at Big Bear. It's a chain that was here in Ohio and a little bit of West Virginia and Pennsylvania, but not much. And he was in charge of the delicatessens of all of them. And I'd go to work with him on Sundays sometime and help him prepare the food and stuff like that. Mom was a housewife, and she kept us all in line. She was the enforcer. So, like I said, two sisters. One followed me into the Army. My oldest sister followed me into the Army. She was at Fort Leonard Wood as a dental hygienist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my other one got married right after high school, so started having babies. So I got four nephews and one niece.
Hey, yay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, like your dad built you a bicycle when you were growing up, was your dad close to you growing up? Was
Oh,
he a tight mentor to you?
yeah, he was real close. We was real close. We like I said, he built the bicycle and he done other things like when I was in Boy Scouts and we had the Pinewood Derby, he'd help me with the car and stuff like that when I was younger. And like he'd always take us camping. Even in the wintertime, when me and him went camping, we'd go sled riding at Dillon Dam State Park. We'd be the only ones in the campground, but camped in a tent and we heated it with a lantern, Coleman lantern.
Oh,
We'd,
that's fun.
we'd stay out there a whole weekend sledding. It was a skiing hill, but back then nobody actually skied, so we used it as a sled riding hill.
Oh,
Uh,
that's great.
Build a fire in a 55-gallon drum, and as long as you sledding and walking back up the hill, you stayed pretty warm.
So, what made you want to join the army?
Well, I entered that post-Vietnam War, and nobody was going into service. And the Soviet Union kept getting stronger and stronger. And as I got older, I seen that, and I wanted to make the armed forces, not just the Army, but I wanted the whole United States Armed Forces to be stronger. That's why I joined. Not that I made any difference in it, but
Oh no, you made a difference. We make differences, right? We make differences. I make a difference, and therefore you make a difference. So yay! Go ahead, tell me more.
and so I went up to the recruiting office and kind of volunteered, and I scored pretty high on the test, and they wanted me to go in intelligence and go listen to radio waves in Germany. But being 18, I didn't sound too exciting to me, so I quickly directed. I wanted to go Ranger and Airborne. My recruiter talked me out of going to Ranger right away. He told me to try Airborne first, and if I wanted to go, there's still plenty of time to do it. So that's what I did.
So what made you want to be a Ranger? What made you want to be Airborne?
Well, I just read about them all the time, and I always thought it would be exciting, and I considered them to be the best in the Army.
Right,
So,
right, right.
I never went Ranger, but I did go Airborne, and as a 24 mic Vulcan system repairman. So.
Oh wow! So that's one of the questions. I didn't know if you're a 24 mic man. That's kudos. I love my Vulcan, man. Oh wow, I love my Vulcan. So yeah, we get to talk about some of that. That'll be great. So tell me about your decision. To choose that MOS. Did you get a choice, or like you're right? They pick the smart guys to do that MOS. They don't pick the dummies. So yeah. So how did all that come about?
Well, you know how everybody tells you your recruiter lies to you and all this. Mine was actually a nice guy, and he kind of steered me in there, told me it was a good MOS to be in, and he kind of explained it all to me, and it sounded like I'd like to do it. And because I never, as a civilian, you never hear of a Vulcan system as an 18-year-old kid, so he kind of steered me in the right direction there.
Oh wow. Wow, it's just hard to think about a Vulcan system mechanic in the 70s, right? The old division area way down by Pope Air Force Base and Green Ramp, open bay barracks. If you ain't acting right, you're going to get the beat down up in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard the stories. Seen the pictures. So tell me about school and basic training and AIT and all that. How did that go for you?
Okay, it went pretty good. We had basic combat training back then. So we had a couple 0 weeks. I was in basic for about 9 weeks, and it was an experience. It was at the time where they actually hit people and stuff, and they weren't supposed to, but they still did. They still old school. And kind of get your attention real quick, so you stay in line. And they pushed us really hard, and it made me learn a lot about myself, how far I could do, and what I could take and what I couldn't take. And actually, you make you go farther than what you can believe you think you can go. So, and I loved El Paso. I didn't want to leave there. Of course, the Army makes you, but I loved the desert, and I had a couple girlfriends there, and like I said, I wasn't too much of a player in high school, so it was a culture shock for me having a couple of girlfriends at the same time. So it was kind of fun. And of course, you could stay there for AIT, and we did the Vulcan / FAR radar at the time. So, and FAR was a self-paced school, so I kind of took it slow so I could stay with my girlfriends for a little bit longer. But all good things come to an end.
So you got to talk about that. So that's so funny. So look, all right. So back in the day, El Paso in the military base was known. I mean, if you want to get you a good husband, you go hang out and find you a soldier in training. And so tell me about your girlfriends. You got to tell me about your girlfriends.
Well, I had a Vietnamese girlfriend. She's 10 years older than me at the time. She was 28 and I was 18. And I thought I was in love. And then I had a little Mexican girl, and her sister dated my buddy that was in AIT with me, and we went out movies and dancing and just about everything on the weekends with them. So it was kind of fun.
So you was the juggler, man. You was the juggler.
I'm
Oh my God.
one short.
You're just one short. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh wow. So go ahead.
But like you saying, this girls wanted to marry guys on Fort Bliss. So if you went to, they had a place called This Is Texas, is a bar on Dyer Street where you weren't supposed to go. Of course, everybody did, and you go in there and the girls would be buying you drinks. It's the only place in the world that ever was like that to me. So.
Oh wow, that's great. They was looking for that LES and that green ID card.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's amazing. I get it. I totally get it, right? Because if you find the right person to fall in love with, your life can change very, very quickly.
Well, I thought I was in love, but that did turn out that way.
So what happened when you moved off?
Oh, well, actually, the Vietnamese girl I'm still in touch with, she's let's see, she's 74 now, I think, somewhere around there. She's still 10 years older than me. So we still in touch. We get together once in a great while and call each other on the phone about 2 or 3 times a year. And we still miss each other and stuff, so maybe it was love. I don't know. But it didn't work out, whatever.
Yeah, I get it. I love it. That's great.
The Mexican girl, she moved on pretty quick because she knew I wasn't going to marry her, I guess. So.
She bought somebody else a drink.
Yeah.
This Brett character ain't gonna do. Let's you're a photographer. I wanna play something right now. Did you see the videos I did for you?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah. Let's play this one. Brett's a photographer, everybody, and here's what I did for him. So let's watch.
See, funny thing about love is you never really know when it's coming, but you better believe you'll know when it's there. True story. I must have been searching, though I wasn't looking for much. Checking out the scene, wasn't trying to get my numbers up. You know I keep it cool. I prefer to stay in the cut. Don't want no attention on me when I'm trying to shake the blues up off me. But then I saw your face. It caused my heart to race. Girl, you're looking like $1,000,000. Something about the way you strut your stuff. Oh, girl, you're fine as you wanna. What I'm supposed to do? Something told me got time to lose. Go ahead and bust a move. Funny thing about love, when it comes and goes, you never know. So you gotta keep your heart exposed, and you can be sure there's no cause and no cure. And if it wants you, oh, it'll come and find you. Fall back just a little. Don't wanna lead you on. Don't wanna push a feeling and make the feeling go. You see, I got your number, but still I ain't used the phone. No, I let it breathe for a minute, baby. Next thing I know, you call. Damn. One thing I know about love, you never know when it's coming, but you sure know it when it does. Yeah. One thing I know about love, you might get what you ask for, so you better be sure it's what you want. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. keep your heart exposed, and you can be sure there's no cause and no cure. And when it wants you, all men come and find you. Yeah. One thing I know about love, you never know when it's coming.
You look a little bit like Dr. Phil, man.
I
You
got some
look,
hair now. I shaved it back then, but it's thumbing out pretty well. That's why I shaved it back then. But everybody told me to
oh.
grow it back 'cause they said I looked like Walter White on the Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's great. Walter White. Oh, boy, that's great. Well, I'm here with Brett Hunt, everybody. We're having a great time. Tell me about your photography. I mean, that's really, really cool, right? Are you a Nikon guy? Are you a Canon guy? A Sony guy?
I started out with Minolta 101 back in high school, and just did the yearbook and the newspaper for the school and stuff. And when I went in the Army, kind of laid it to the side and stuff. And then after my divorce, decided to pick it back up and got lucky. I was talking to a girl who moved back to Dayton, Ohio, and she had been a model out in California. And I said, well, I really don't know anything about the business. If you could help me out. And before I knew it, I was shooting for MTV. There was a show called Fantasy Factory, and they were both from Dayton. The two guys is from Dayton. One was a skateboarder, and he was famous. I can't think of his name, like Drysdale or something like that. And his cousin was on the show too, and he come out with his own clothing line. So they had a fashion show for him at a bar in Dayton. So they hired me to go and take the stills for it, and they had a bunch of video cameras back then doing the video of it, and I took all the pictures. It was my first real job.
Oh, wow.
And then actually, I felt a little intimidated by everybody there, and I was nervous, but I struggled through it and got them their pictures. And then she got me another job down in Cincinnati at a bar, and it's nothing big like MTV, but it was they was doing the 7 deadly sins, and that night it was greed. They had girls painted up gold and had me taking pictures of them while they're getting painted, and they had dollar bills in a net above the dance floor, a bunch of them, and at midnight they dropped them, and I took pictures of that for them and stuff. So just from her, I got 2 jobs right off the bat where most people have to struggle. So I was actually pretty lucky. And I met another model at A.D. Farrell up in Columbus. Is a Harley Davidson motorcycle shop, and they had her come in to sit on bikes and have people, sign autographs and stuff. So I talked to her there and told her, I'm starting out and I need help and all this stuff. And she took me to a drive-through car wash on my motorcycle. That's the V-Rod you see in the pictures there. And we took pictures inside a car wash, and I kept thinking, this is really crap. The background's crap and everything. Well, she submitted them to East Coast Biker, and they ran them. And then she vanished on me. So I called East Coast Biker. They're out of Pennsylvania, almost to New Jersey. And I talked to the editor, Norm Keller, and asked him if he needed me to do any more. And he said, well, do you know where the model went? And I said, no, she kind of vanished on me. And they said, well, they vanished on us too. We was going to make her the spokesmodel, but she vanished on us too. So he said, I give you one shot. If you do good, we'll sign you up. So I went out and rented some lights, and got these buddies here in the courthouse that build bikes. So I got one of their bikes and used their garage. And I went and hired a stripper, and I didn't think she was going to show up. So there's a place online called Model Mayhem. So I contacted another model off of that, and they both showed up. So we had a girl motorcycle shoot, and the East Coast Biker just loved it. And before long, I was shooting covers for them and centerfolds, and they even had an online where it's they made Brett's Babes and stuff like that, and was charging people $20 to see it and stuff. So I was really lucky there too. And then that led to Easy Rider and the Horse, V-Twin, Thunder Roads, just about all the major motorcycle magazines I've been in.
Oh,
And I really enjoyed
wow.
it. It combined my three loves: photography, women, and motorcycles. So,
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, what kind of, what kind of treatment and stuff do you do to your pictures? Do you have a look that you go for?
no, not really. Other than I tried to see, everybody wanted older women when I first started in motorcycle shops, and I kept telling them, you got to stay young, you got to stay with the crowd because that's who you're going to market to for forever. You're not going to, these old guys are going to die off and stuff. I kind of got the pretty young girls in it on the motorcycles instead of the typical biker babe. And it took like Norm, an East Coast biker, he didn't want it. He argued with me for a good 6 months over it, and I finally convinced him. And his sales of his magazines went up when we did it.
Amen. That's cool.
So I shoot for Roadhawk magazine now, almost exclusively. I do their centerfolds for them, and basically had the same argument with them, but they didn't put up too much of a fight because I already had some success behind me. So,
Amen. Right. It's nice to be
yeah.
able to say, no, this is kind of the way it is. Right. Yeah.
I just, you got to stay current or you're going to get lost. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got somebody on Twitch from the Swiss Air Force. So Swiss R, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We're here on Heroes Live with Brett Hunt, airborne soldier and a photographer. So what was it like jumping out of an airplane?
Well, that was nothing like it in the world. I remember my first time I was going out, standing up in jump school, and the door was all right until they opened the doors, and I heard all that noise, and I started getting nervous. And as I was going toward the door, I just convinced myself I wasn't going to jump. I was just going to walk past the jump master, and about 4 guys in front of me, a guy tried that, and I seen him go out the door in a way I didn't want to go out. So I was able to jump out on my own. I didn't need an assisted jump. And
But you were thinking about it.
Yes, I was, very much. And that first time that chute opened up, that's the greatest feeling in the world, I tell you. And I don't know if you know it or not, but I actually was entangled. I fell 2,000 feet with Specialist Bailey. And right after that, I got towed behind the 141. And that one almost made me quit jumping, but had a Lieutenant Sullivan come in, and he talked to me, and he talked me out of what do they call it when you terminating jump status. He talked me out of doing that. I stayed in another couple of years jumping, so I'm kind of glad I did.
All right. So look, I've been entangled before, so I kind of got an idea, but I've never been a toe jumper. Okay. And I know a little bit about it, and I kind of got an idea. I'm just blown away. So what do you want to explore first? You want to talk about the entanglement or talk about toe jumper?
Well, there's 2 consecutive jumps. The entanglement, my chute opened side of his chute at the door. He's like 4 guys in front of me. My chute opened up inside of his and took both chutes away. But I didn't have time to be scared, really. 5 seconds later, I was on the ground and I was all right. So I didn't have to, I didn't get scared or nothing until I was on the bus going back to Garrison. And then so I quickly dismissed it. But
okay, let's not dismiss it now. Okay, let's not dismiss it now. Okay, so I've been entangled, and I've got a book I'm about to publish about it. It's called Entangled at 4,000. And it's just like you. When you jump out the door, your parachute opens kind of inside of another parachute. It's kind of a weird kind of phenomenon. Happened to me. So, all right. So, tell me about that 5 seconds.
Well, I think everything I learned in jump school went through my head in that 5 seconds. First, I tried to spread eagle so I wouldn't go through his chute, but I going too fast. I couldn't do it. And then I tried to swing back into the same way you went through it, but that didn't happen either. And When my chute collapsed, I thought his chute was catching on. I fell down. I was on top at first, and I fell down through him. And as I was going by him, I told him to slip away, but he was actually falling too, so he couldn't slip away. He pulled his reserve, but it never opened. I didn't pull mine because he was above me. I thought I'd take his chute away from me if I pulled mine.
Right.
And like I said, I went through every day of jump school in my mind because I knew they taught me something that was going to save my life. And what it was a PLF, and I executed the perfect PLF. Probably the only one I ever done perfect. So, and I credit it to saving my life.
Okay. So, your buddy, what? Tell me about him.
Well, it was the second time he was entangled in a couple jumps too. Everything he had on him was smashed. His canteen cup was smashed, and his canteen was exploded. Mess kit was about the size of a piece of paper. I mean, everything. Just I don't know how he lived because he hit hard. And when I first got on the ground, and seen him hit before the chutes come down over top, and I start yelling for medics for him. And he got up and walked off the drop zone with me. So
Wow. What? Okay. So daytime, nighttime.
It was a daytime jump. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
tactical jump, but it was daytime.
Right. Did you lower your equipment?
No, I didn't have all I had was the rifle Miles packing on me, and that's all I was carrying at the time.
Right.
And
Right.
he was in supply. He was actually a red eye gunner, but they moved him to supply. So I'm not sure what all he had. Of course, we all both had TA-50 with us, but he just had an M16 with him too, I believe.
So what happened? Did it get reported to the malfunctioned officer on the drop zone? Did you just walk away and no big deal? Did they punish you and send you to retraining or something?
They didn't punish us or nothing. The chaplains was the guy on parachute recovery was actually taking pictures of it, so we got 3 pictures of it. And then he come over. He was the first one to come to me and got chutes off of me and stuff. And as I stood up, I started smoking a cigarette, and the chaplains come talk to me. And then that was basically it. We all, I'm sure it got reported. It was no secret there. Everybody was seeing it. So, but I never heard anything about getting reported or nothing.
Okay, so you go back. We just fell out of the sky. We just fell out of the sky, and so you called home and you told him what?
Oh, I didn't actually call home and tell them that time because I didn't want them to be scared, even though I lived, because I knew I was going to jump some more. And then, like I said,
did you tell anybody? Did you talk about it? Did you? I mean, like, look, you just fell out of the freaking sky.
Well, I talked to the guys in our platoon, and they asked 100 questions and teased you and all that stuff, and act like they wasn't going to stand beside you in the line anymore and all this stuff.
You're jinxed. Yeah. Yeah. So then the next jump, you jump out and you're a toad jumper. Come on.
What happened there is my equipment was falling off as we was going out the door. So I put my arm over the cord so you could walk past the jump master, and everybody went out the door, and he told me to walk toward the front of the aircraft, and all the kit bags pulled me out the door, and of course I was in there with them. And somehow, I don't know how I did it, I grabbed the side of the door and pulled back in enough to look at the jump master, and I asked him for help. And he was scared that I was going to pull him out, so he backed up to the other side of the plane. And the pilot kicked on the other 2 engines, and it ripped me off the door again. And I was able to climb back in. I was so scared. Like I said, when you fall, it's over. But I was probably only out there a minute, but it seemed like hours. And I was so scared that I was able to pull myself back in the airplane. And I got to inside the plane. He told me to walk to the front aircraft, and I said, not so nicely, but I said, blank that. Pull the kit bags in, shut the doors. I'll walk to the cockpit. And that's what he did. And we landed at Green Ramp, and we were supposed to report to that little building on Green Ramp because he didn't jump. And we walked in there, and just before we went inside, the jump master said, "Don't go inside. I'll take care of everything." So he went in. I don't know what was said. But when he come back out, he said, "You're not getting court-martialed, so just go on, get back up to your unit." And that's what I did. But like I said, I was probably only out there a minute, a little bit more than a minute maybe. Seemed like hours. I had plenty of time to be scared out there. So that's the one that frightened me.
Okay. All right. Wow. I cannot believe I'm hearing this. I'm blown away. Okay. So, all right. So, left door or right door?
The right door.
Okay. So right door. So you have the static line in your right hand.
Yes.
All right. And you're going to go, and what happened? Your H harness came disconnected, or what?
Well, my equipment, like the M16 was falling off. It must have been the case for it must have been defective or something. It started falling off, and it was pulling my Alice pack that way. I wasn't so much worried about losing the Alice pack and the TA-50s. I was losing the M16.
Right.
So that's why I put the signal to walk past the jump master up.
Okay, and so he thought you were a jump refusal.
Right.
Okay. And so the drop zone, they're done with flying. They finished with the drop zone. The red light's on, and they're beginning to take the deployment bags and pull the deployment bags in, and that's when you fell out?
Actually, no, they hadn't started pulling the bags in.
Okay.
He just told me to walk toward the front of the aircraft, and
okay.
I took a couple steps, and they pulled me out. The kit bags pulled me out the door. So,
how did the kit bags pull you out of the door? Something happened. Something caught air or something, and just pulled you out.
Well, I was still hooked up to them as I was walking forward, and with a C-141, I guess you don't really jump. You get sucked out. So I guess it pulled me close enough to the door where I got sucked out.
Okay. And so what did you grab a hold of? The trail edge of the door, or the what were you holding on to?
At first, I wasn't holding on. I was smacking up against the side of the aircraft. And
what had you towed? What was holding
all
you
the
on?
Kit bags. All the kit bags had me towed. I was in the kit bag lines, the static lines of some of the kit bags. So, like I said, I don't know how I did it. But
the kit bags weren't holding you to the aircraft. It had to be something on your body that's holding you, like maybe your lowering line had gotten hooked up or something, or maybe a strap off of your equipment. Is either one of those possible? Maybe we've lost signal. I don't know what's happened. I'm blown away. I'm just blown away. Oh, wow. We've lost you. Hey, Brett, there we go. Okay. Here we go. We got you back. I think we lost you for a minute. So I'm trying to wonder what was holding you to the aircraft. It's got to be something from your equipment. It can't be the deployment bags from the other parachutes.
Yeah. It might have been my M16 case because that was what was really loose, and maybe it got jammed on the door. But like I said, I wasn't paying attention to anything at that time except for trying to get back in.
Yeah, so eventually you were able to grab around and get a hold of the aircraft with your hands?
Yeah, exactly. With one hand, I got the side of the door, and I was able to pull myself up just enough to look inside and ask for help. And then I got ripped off the door again, and the next time I made it back up there, I swung around with my other arm and got the other side of the door. I'm not strong enough to do this, but I did it. And I was able to wedge my foot into the side of the door, and then I pushed off with my legs and my hand and got back inside the plane. It was...
Oh, my gosh. I'm just blown away. So And so the jump master played it off. The jump master team played it off as as that you were a jump refusal.
At first, but when we landed, I think he knew he was going to be in trouble too because he didn't help me, and he didn't tell the pilot I was even out there. So,
Well,
'cause he,
the load master had to know. They had to know. Oh
yeah,
wow. Oh wow. Okay, so tell me more. Tell me the rest of the story.
oh, that's about it. Except for when we landed, we went to the little shack there on Green Ramp, and he come out and told me to walk to my unit, which was right up the road. And I went to the mess hall, and I'd already decided I'm terminating. And Lieutenant Sullivan come in. He was a butterballer in our unit, and nice guy, but he come down. And he was mad at first when he come in here because he thought I was screwing around. And I was out there looking for me on the drop zone, and I told him what happened, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to terminate. So he said, well, you're not going to go anywhere. I said, I don't care. I just ain't jumping anymore. And I don't really realize what he said to me after that, but by the time we got done talking, I was not going to terminate. So.
It's neat. It's neat how right those feelings wash through us and things happen. I am okay. So I had a soldier fall out of an aircraft in front of me, like you're talking about, and I had to pull him back in, like you're talking about. So it's amazing to me that the story that you're telling. Okay, I love it. Crazy. So yeah, and thanks Cook, thanks Dakin, thanks Evans. I love you guys. Yeah, Joe, right? Oh my gosh. Wow. So we're here with Brett Hunt, paratrooper, faller, outer, towed paratrooper, entangled paratrooper, amazing photographer, Vulcan mechanic, oh my gosh, right? Yeah, let's talk about that. Tell me about being a Vulcan mechanic.
Well, I was it seemed like the gun I was made for because in school for it, I was always getting the stuff right away, and the instructors was kind of having fun with me because they thought I was going to be the best one or the worst one. They said they didn't know which was going to be, but they'd I mean, it's just like I knew the gun before I even learned it. So, and then when you got to what really got me going was when we got to Fort Bragg, and they go to the battery offices where the colonel was and everybody. There was like three sergeants up there from three different batteries, and they was all trying to take me to their battery and stuff. And finally, one from Alpha Battery come and got me and walked back down there. And I was when I first got there, there wasn't very many. There was only like 10 of us, and most of them were sergeants. There was me and a spec four, and we did all the work. So I was able to, instead of working on just our batteries gun, I got to work on all the battalions. I have 48 guns to work on all the time, so I got to learn quick. And the spec four, he wasn't really into learning. He was just kind of marking time. So I got to do most of the work and learn all the problems. Got to see all the problems and help me out in the long run. So.
Oh yeah, that was a very complicated yet simple system, right? If you knew
Right.
a few rules and you kind of understood how it worked, it's like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Right.
Hey, but that radar, oh heck no, right? Were you there when they had the radar and stuff?
Yes. We actually, me and another guy volunteered for the ACE board, and we learned how to work with them to lapse the Vulcans, and we have worked out the system to take the radar dome off and put it on the tongue of the Vulcan and put the corrugate cardboard around them and stuff. It took us a few times, but we finally got it so we could do it, and you could replace them in the field really quick. So
That's awesome. That's
it took us
awesome.
about a week to do that.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, if you're watching this, they're talking about a low altitude parachute extraction system that they used to take a container like a Vulcan and a Gamma Goat and literally pull it out of the back of a C-130 while it's flying really low over an airfield, and it would come to a skidding stop on the runway. And they haven't used that technique for a long time. after a Sheridan and an incident, if I remember right, there at Fort Bragg, happened a few times. But yeah, so Lapes and the Vulcan, that would be cool. Did you ever get to see it happen?
I actually got to see it for the whole week. So we'd rig it up and we'd run out to the drop zone and do a TI on it afterwards. And if stuff was broke, we had to fix it, and we had to take it back to the motor pool and get it fixed real quick and take it back out there to them and do it again. It was like it went all week before we got it right. We had, of course, after you get it right, you got to do it a few more times to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So
Oh wow! So y'all really lapsing the same Vulcan every couple times a day or something?
most of the time, I think we had to change one time because it was early on. It was busted up too bad for us to fix right away. We had to get parts. So,
Oh wow! That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, it's wild to think about, like, when the military wants to test something, man, they can get it done, right? They'll
yes.
get it figured out. They'll get it done. To put a group of people together, they get on it, and next thing you know, there you are. So I'm just baffled. I could just see you hanging out the door of the aircraft, looking back inside, like, "Let me in!" But oh my gosh! And the jump master's like the big bad wolf. Go away! Go away! Just let go! Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It
That
was
is
also my idea to put tandem wheels on them so you could shoot while they was moving. And
Amen, dude. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for that change, because you also kept them from rolling over all the dang time.
yeah, we had for Chief Warrant Officer 2 Walker, and he was involved in it, and there was a couple sergeants. I can't remember their names right now, but uh, they all helped. And there's like about 5, 6 of us that worked on it until they made the hubs for them and everything, and the machine shop. They got it going. It's a
Oh,
they always
that's
they
great.
promise us extra money for it, but we never seen any of it.
Oh, you didn't get the. They've got the bonus improvement award. Get $50. You never see it. You never see it. Right, right. You're supposed to send in that form, and 4 to 6 weeks later they'd get with you. They'd
They
get
never
with you.
got with us.
Talking
But
about being a photographer, like, I was in Korea one time, and I submitted a photo to like some kind of contest or something. Like
yeah,
a year and a half later, they called me. They want to know where to send the plaque, and I'm like, oh wow. So have you ever won any awards with your photography, or things that you're like really proud of, the accomplishments? Like, what's like the coolest photo shoot you've been a part of, or what's the biggest magazine you've been in, or whatever?
probably Easy Riders was the biggest. I helped. I didn't get the picture in the magazine, but I helped a girl get in the penthouse. So that was kind of accomplishment. But I liked all my motorcycle shoots and got them in. Like I said, every major motorcycle magazine I've been in, and uh, it all started with the small ones, but they all count, I think.
Tell me about the craziest photo shoot you've ever been a part of.
Okay, I was sitting with a photographer who just started, and he said, "How do you get girls to pose nude for you? They won't pose nude for me even if I pay them." And I said, I was just joking with him. I said, "Well, you're a photographer and I'm an artist." And he started cussing me out and stuff. And about that time, my phone rang, and it was this girl from Indiana. She wanted to shoot with me. And I said, "Well, I got a cool idea." I said, "We'll paint you up like a ghost and put you in an old cemetery." And the guy was going, he was flipping out. He's going, "Don't tell her that. You're going to lose the job. You're going to lose the job." And she said, "That sounds great." So she brought her boyfriend, and we went out to, it's called Little Pennsylvania Cemetery. It's on Ohio's haunted sites list. It's a real old cemetery. It's supposed to be haunted. It's supposed to have some Bigfoot there and stuff. So we went there, and she had liquid makeup to put on her with a 1-inch sponge. Me and her boyfriend was painting her with 1-inch sponges, and these two guys come with their shotguns, and we had her put a robe on, and they talked to us for a little bit, said they was going to go squirrel hunting. They went off in the woods, and she took the robe off, said, you better wait for a little bit. And she put her robe back on, and all these guns start going off, sounded like they was in a war. And she took the robe off again. I said, that's not how you hunt squirrels. So she put her robe back on. The guys come out of the woods. They just right in the tree lines. I said, okay, we're leaving. They went back out onto the road and got in their car and left. We finished shoot, and I wasn't really good at Photoshop then, but I was learning, and I was able to take her legs off of her. And she brought this I don't know what you call it. It was sheer fabric that she kind of draped over her shoulders and down, and I could smear her legs in it, and looked like you could see through her by the time I got done. And had her floating over the top of the tombstones. It come out really good.
Oh, that's great, right? That's cool. That sounds fun, right? Wow.
Oh,
And the squirrel hunters, right? Come on. I bet they enjoyed it.
they had to.
Yeah, they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. So what kind, you talk about using Photoshop. What type of, do you use an IBM? Do you use an Apple? What are you still using? Minolta?
Well, I'm using Nikon now, Nikon 750, full frame. And I use Photoshop. I started off with they call it GIMP.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay, it's like Photoshop, only it's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of learned on GIMP, and then I had to switch around, relearn how to do things on Photoshop. But that's what I use now, and I don't try to do too much with it because I want the people to look like themselves. I don't want them to look like plastic people and stuff like that. So I got a little system down, and I take the pimples off and stuff like that, and I smooth the skin just a touch, not a whole lot. And
yeah, I like your treatment. Yeah, I like your treatment. You definitely do a good job. Very classy. Not too much touching, over touching, and all that kind of good stuff. Joe says, Brett, that's the craziest shoot location, right? Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. So tell me about motorcycles. Are you a Harley guy? Are you an Indian guy?
I started out on Hondas and went to Harley, and I'm having a 79 Honda built for me right now. It's going to be a kind of like a half a scrambler and half a cafe racer built. It's a 500 XL Honda 79. So,
oh, wow. Yay.
We found it, and the guys that build bikes here, they was going to put it in it's called a metric bike show, build off. And so they had the bike, and they told me as long as I bought the parts, they'd put them on, and at the end, they'd give it to me. And the day I agreed to do it, and I gave them $1,000 to get some parts, my mom died.
Oh,
so
wow.
I kind of lost interest in it, and I come back to them. They didn't want to get in the metric build off anymore, so we kind of put it on the back burner. And while shooting for Road Hawk magazine, they took me to the flat track races in Zanesville, and I was shooting with a Nikon, what was it, 500? I can't remember what it was, but it was about a 10-year-old camera that I've been using, and I was down real close to the track and stuff because I had a special pass, and they kept throwing dirt on me the whole day. And by the time the day was over, my camera didn't want to work right. And so the next day I went out shooting down at a beach shoot with a girl I know. It was just a friendly shoot. And I made her come there at 6 o'clock. Shut up. Went down to 6 o'clock to shoot, and I forgot to take the lights with me. And my camera, it started really messing up. I had to use every bit of knowledge I had to get a shoot in, so she wouldn't be completely pissed at me.
Oh, yeah, and,
right. I got the 750 after that, and that's the only one I got right now.
So, do you do you remember switching from film to digital?
Well, when I shot film was in high school and stuff, and when I got back to shooting, everything was digital then.
Oh, so. Okay, cool. So you didn't have to make a equipment transition while you were already
right.
working. So that's cool. Good, good, good.
Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Minolta 101. I'm going to have to let this dog out. Hold on a second.
Yeah, yeah. We're here with Brett Hunt, everybody, having a great time. I hope you guys are. This is a little bit of juggler.
Find someone to make me settle down, but I'd hate to be the one to make her suffer. Cause one of them days we'd go to town and one of my friends would flag us down and say, you know why everybody calls him the juggler.
Sorry about
I'd
that.
have to explain
Hey, no problem.
that they call me the juggler, cause I always have 3 lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubber like no other. But when I'm not between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover.
Oh, Swiss R, thank you so much. He's dancing along with us. We got Joe Benson saying, what an awesome show. We're here with Brett Hunt, What was the highest rank you made it to? Did you make sergeant?
Now, I was a Spec 4 when I got out. They did put me up for the E5, trying to keep me in, but I just went ahead and got out. Went back to school.
What did you go back and so tell me about getting out and making that transition. Was it easy? Was it hard? Was there buddies that were like, hey man, you're leaving me here. What's going on?
Of course, got all that, but I got out. I talked to Colonel McKnight at the barber shop, and he was asking me what I was going to do, and I told him I was going to get out. So he actually gave me an early out of about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, so I could enroll in college.
That's cool.
And I took electronics, and never used it. Went in the water and wastewater business. I spent 34 years there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You moving water from one pond to the next?
Well, actually, drinking water. I started in wastewater where we clean it and put it back in the creek, and then I did that for about 12 years, and I went to the water side in Washington Courthouse here, and I did that about 10 or 11 years, and Columbus came and recruited me away from them.
Oh yeah.
I went back to wastewater, but they had me incinerating sludge when I first started, and I'd never done that before in my life. So I got to learn something at the end of my career that I probably would have never got to do if I hadn't went to Columbus. And then it was just went from a 3 million gallon a day plant to a 140 million gallon a day plant. So it was kind of a big adjustment there.
Wow. So were you like the boss, or were you a worker guy, or were you a squad leader?
In the Army, or
in your working in the water plant stuff.
Yeah. Well, I started off just a worker, and then when I went to the water side, I was in charge of maintenance. So I got to do maintenance, and I was a relief operator. So when somebody took vacation or got sick or something, I took their spot as an operator. And so I kind of was able just to kind of do what I wanted as long as I got my work done.
Right.
And water plant machines, they're not well known anywhere unless you're in the water plant. So once you learn how to fix them and stuff, there's not a whole lot of people that can tell you what to do anyway. So all they care about is if the machine works and the water's going out the door clean. So.
Oh wow, that's an interesting take on it, right? If you've got the special skills in that town, you really gotta. I mean, they're not gonna want to piss you off and fire you, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Columbus was so big that because in Washington Courthouse you did everything when you first start. You do operations, maintenance. There you do everything. And you get to Columbus, and them guys work one section of the plant. Some guys didn't even know how the water flowed through the plant.
Oh wow!
They worked one section for 30 years, and they knew that one section as an expert, but they couldn't tell you anything else about the rest of the plant. And I was able to work the whole plant. I worked the lab, and the only thing I didn't know how to work out, that's where they started me. That was incineration. So I got to learn that, and about about a month after I worked that, they had me write the SOP on how to do incineration. I guess I did pretty good at it.
Yeah, well, probably walked in and said, "Why are we doing it this way? This is not very smart." And they're like, "Well, write the SOP then." Oh, I love it. I love it. So, tell me about your family. Who prays for you when they lay their head down on the pillow at night, and who do you pray for?
Well, I pray for my family basically because most of them's gone now. I got my dad's left. He's 90. He'll be 91 in August. And one sister's left, and she's got the family. She's up in Columbus and stuff, so she's got her own kids to chase around and keep track of and stuff. So basically, I go over and check on Dad every once in a while and make sure he's doing all right. We go out to eat and just talk and stuff. So it's just us right now. So.
Amen. Amen. You have offspring? Did you have children?
I had one girl, never married her mom. It was a one night stand, and they did the DNA test on me back in 1985, and it come back that she wasn't mine. So,
wow.
So I thought she wasn't mine, and then about 4 or 5 years ago, she contacted me on Facebook and wanted to talk. So I agreed to talk, and first, I thought she was wanting me to talk about her mom and stuff, and I didn't want to do that. I said, I'm not going to say nothing bad about your mom. And she was, well, I don't want to talk about her. I want to, she had heard a completely different story that I didn't want her. I tried to never be around her and all this stuff, which wasn't true. And I told her about the test and stuff. So she looked just like me. I said, well, we look just alike. So maybe we can take another one. Maybe they made a mistake the first time around and come back 99.99999. So they had a couple grandkids now, and they come over every now and then. They like to come over and play games here and watch TV, and I take them out to the zoo and stuff like that. Go to the park with them.
Oh wow, that's great! Yay, yay! There's a couple pictures of them on your Facebook. I've got another slideshow to play. Let's play that slideshow now? That'll be fun.
Okay.
Perfect time. Yeah, let me pull it up for us. Let me pull it up. I'm a lover boy. That's Brett Hunt, everybody, on Heroes Live. We're hanging out, having a good time. I hope you guys are. It's a lot of fun. I really have enjoyed it so far, right? What besides photography do you do? Do you have any other hobbies?
Yes, I like to fish, and I'm into guns a little bit. And I don't hunt or anything, but I like target shooting and stuff like that.
What's your
How about?
favorite gun to shoot?
Well, I got a SKS. I like to shoot, and I got a 20 gauge shotgun. I like to shoot, and I got a 380. I bought it for a concealed carry, but I shoot it sometimes just to say proficient with it.
Right. Are you a carrier? Do you carry? I used to, but I like done with carrying now.
I used to too. It just got so expensive to keep renewing and stuff, but they're passing a law here. It's already passed exactly, but it hadn't come into effect yet that everybody can still carry now in Ohio. So
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. What is it that if you were going to look around and like give a message to your newfound grandkids and those that come behind you, do you have a message that kind of overarches your life or a thought process that keeps you moving forward when it's dark outside and you don't see the light of day?
yeah, I always tell them to be themselves, be true to themselves, never give up. Even in the bad times, you keep your head down, keep working, and you come through the other side pretty good most of the times. Uh, you get knocked down, get back up, uh, work hard, and love the Lord, and that's about it.
Amen. They say there's no atheist in foxholes. Is there something that you might say towards your spirituality?
I'm very much believe in God and Jesus Christ, but I don't believe so much in the religion part of it. I don't go to church and stuff like that, but I do believe. And you say there's no atheists in foxholes. I don't believe there's any atheists anywhere because once you get in a life and death situation, they're all praying. I don't know who they're praying to, but they're praying.
Amen. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm just baffled. I'm just blown away that jump, what jump was it you think where you got entangled?
That's
What jump
I'm
you
gonna say
think?
I'm gonna say it was about 25 or so.
Oh,
I'd been
wow.
yeah I'd done quite a few before that happened, and
Wow. And then the very next jump, you're a toe jumper.
right. And
Oh my God.
actually, the next jump after that, we went up with in El Paso. We was in El Paso for annual service practice, and they had a National Guard helicopter pilot take us up. And I was the first guy in the sticks. And when I jumped out, he overcompensated for me leaving. He swung down and caught me before my chute opened up. So I had to jump out of that helicopter twice.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That was the only three bad jumps I had. I mean, I've jumped in all kind of weather. I've never got hurt. You know, never even come close to getting hurt after other than those three jumps. And I consider myself fortunate because guys, their chute opens up and they went down and they got drug across the DZ or something. They banged themselves up pretty good. Some of them did. A couple of them pulled reserves, and they say they messed up their back when they landed because of the reserve, the way you come down on the reserve and stuff. So,
Oh my
I,
gosh. So let me make sure I get this right now. So you're in a UH-1 Iroquois aircraft, a Huey,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you jumped out, and before you got out good, you found yourself back in the aircraft again?
Sitting in the same spot I was before.
Oh
And
wow.
the jump master said, go. And I said, didn't I just go? And he goes, go again, go again. So it
That's
was a fun
amazing.
jump too. It says it was the highest jump we ever made too. Was at 10,000 feet. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh wow.
and of
That's
course you're
crazy.
in the desert of Fort Bliss, so you get to stay up there a while.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So yeah, we're here with Brett Hunt, and golly, that is just absolutely mind blowing. So yeah, you know, um, What what as we close things out, how would you, what would you like to? I'll give you the last word.
Uh, I just was always proud of my service in the 82nd Airborne, and still am. Wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. I don't think.
Right.
Even the bad times, you made. I know all kind of close friends in there, and still in contact with about 6 to 8 of them, and still contact First Sergeant Howard on Facebook. He's on the sites and everything, so we talked to him a little bit.
All
It's
right.
kind of, and he remembered us, all the troops he's had under him. He's kind of, you know, kind of amazing that he could remember you.
Amen. Right. Bobby Howard is a
Oh,
great
yes.
guy. He's a great guy.
Yes, he was.
I'm,
When we was in Alpha Battery, and when he was our first sergeant, had Captain Pinkston as the captain, and they called us Bobby's Rangers. All the other batteries they teased us, called us Bobby's Rangers. We
I
always
love
took it
it.
as a compliment, not as
Heck
an
yeah.
insult.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, how about giving us a good hand salute and signing out for us, and we'll call it a night.
Airborne.
Airborne all the way. Thanks, Brett. We appreciate it. We'll play a little bit of the juggler on the way out. And
Thanks for having me.
hey, it's been a blast, right?
Right.
Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubbers like no other.
Burn through
When
Trojan
I'm
rubber.
between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.